Have you ever heard of the forbidden fruit? Have you ever wondered what the forbidden fruit that Eve ate actually was? Enoch visited the Garden of Eden and revealed this to us. Trust me, 90% of people have never known this truth. Before we begin, welcome to our channel, where we uncover the history of the Bible to bring you hidden truths and captivating stories. If you enjoy our explorative content, make sure to subscribe so you won't miss any fascinating videos in the future. Today we will dive into the truth about the forbidden fruit that Eve ate. Some believe it was an apple, while others think the forbidden fruit symbolizes sexual relations. Many theories have emerged over the centuries, but today we will uncover the true forbidden fruit through Enoch's direct revelations. This is one of the clearest theories recorded in sacred texts, and we will explore not just one, but three of the most popular theories. So stay tuned, as this is only the first part of this surprising journey. For those unfamiliar with the story of Adam, Eve, and the serpent, let's delve into some background information. Eve, the first woman, was created by God to be Adam's companion, as told in the book of Genesis. The Bible describes how God caused Adam to fall into a deep sleep and, from one of his ribs, created Eve and brought her to Adam to be his companion. This is how we know about the creation of Mother Eve, who is regarded as the mother of all life. If you'd like to learn more about the story of Adam and Eve, we have a dedicated video on this topic. Visit our channel to find out more about this fascinating story. When it comes to the serpent, the Bible does not describe its creation in detail as it does with Adam and Eve, but it does say, "Now the serpent was more cunning than any beast of the field which the Lord God had made." Genesis 3:1. Many believe that the serpent in this story was Lucifer, but according to the book of Enoch, the serpent that spoke to Eve was actually not Lucifer. During his visit to heaven, Enoch discovered that the serpent was a fallen angel named Gadriel. An angel told Enoch. The third was named Gadriel. It is he who showed the children of men all the blows of death, and he led astray Eve, and showed the weapons of death to the sons of men. This reveals that Gadriel was the one who deceived Eve and led humanity astray. Gadriel was one of the fallen angels who opposed God's will and committed wicked acts to lead humanity toward destruction. After Eve was created, she enjoyed relaxation in a beautiful garden, living an ordinary day of her life. She had everything at her fingertips except the freedom as she understood it. It seems Adam didn't remind Eve about the important rule of not talking to strangers, but in any case, she was already aware of the greatest commandment God had given. "Of every tree of the garden you may freely eat, but of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil you shall not eat. For in the day that you eat of it, you shall surely die." It didn't seem to take long for Eve to be tempted. According to the book of Enoch, Gadriel approached Eve and asked, "Did God really say, 'You must not eat from any tree in the garden'?" Eve replied, "We may eat fruit from the trees in the garden, but about the fruit of the tree in the middle of the garden, God said, 'You must not eat it or touch it, or you will die.'" Gadriel then said, "You will not surely die, for God knows that when you eat it your eyes will be opened, and you will be like God, knowing good and evil." This dialogue is crucial. Gadriel, the deceiver, a member of Lucifer's group, used half-truths to mislead Eve. He preyed on her desire for knowledge and power, framing disobedience as a path to enlightenment rather than rebellion. This is a common tactic of deceivers, offering something appealing while concealing the cost. We all know how the story ends. Eve, tempted by Gadriel's words, ate the forbidden fruit and gave it to Adam, leading to the fall of humanity. We all know that Eve ate the forbidden fruit, the fruit that opened her eyes and gave her knowledge of good and evil. But what exactly was this fruit? Since the Bible doesn't specify the type or appearance of the fruit, let's explore more through the book of Enoch. For those unfamiliar, Enoch is a significant figure in the Bible, known as someone who walked with God. According to Genesis, Enoch lived such a righteous life that he did not experience a normal death, but was taken to heaven by God. This demonstrates his righteousness and unique closeness to the Creator. Enoch is described as a prophet and a scribe who received divine revelations and visions. His role in the Bible also portrays him as a mediator between God and the fallen angels, further highlighting his unwavering loyalty to God. In the book of Enoch, we gain profound insights into the fruit of the tree of knowledge of good and evil. After being guided through the heavenly realms by angels, Enoch was brought to the Garden of Eden, where Adam and Eve once lived. It is fascinating that Enoch was one of the few people ever to visit the Garden of Eden after Adam and Eve were expelled. This makes his description the closest and most specific source of information about the tree of knowledge from the perspective of someone who walked with God. Enoch wrote, "Then I proceeded to the east, to the middle of the desert mountains, where I saw a desolate place filled with trees and vegetation, with water flowing from above, rushing abundantly to the northwest, carrying clouds and mist in all directions." Enoch continued his journey through the desert to the east of the mountains, where he found trees that emitted the fragrance of frankincense and myrrh, along with trees shaped like almond trees. Further east, a valley full of water appeared with a peculiar tree emitting the scent of resin. Along the sides of the valley, cinnamon bushes spread an intense aroma. As he traveled further, Enoch discovered more mountain ranges with lush gardens. In these mountains, sweet substances like sarara and galbanum flowed from the trees. On these peaks were aloe trees with white blossoms resembling almond trees, which when burned produced a fragrance sweeter than any other scent. Many believe Enoch was describing different parts of the Garden of Eden. Though it was a desolate desert, it was brimming with vibrant life and rare trees. Enoch explored a special area where aromatic trees produced frankincense and myrrh, precious materials in ancient religious rituals symbolizing divinity and God's presence. He then traveled to the northern mountains, where the 7 mountains exuded resin, cinnamon, and pepper. Beyond the Arthan Sea, and after encountering the angel Zotiel, Enoch arrived at the Garden of Righteousness, where towering trees spread a pleasant aroma. At the center of the garden stood the tree of wisdom, as tall as a cedar, with leaves like those of a carob tree, and fruits resembling clusters of grapes, emitting a profound fragrance. Enoch was captivated by this tree, and the angel Raphael, his guide, explained, "This is the tree of wisdom, the tree from which your ancestors, Adam and Eve, ate. When they consumed its fruit, their eyes were opened, and they realized they were naked, leading to their expulsion from the Garden of Eden." Angel Raphael, who guided Enoch through many places in heaven and on earth, confirmed that this was the very tree Adam and Eve ate from before being cast out of the sacred garden. Enoch described the tree of knowledge in detail. "I came to the Garden of Righteousness and saw great trees growing, pleasant in fragrance, large and beautiful. The tree of wisdom, whose fruit they ate to gain profound understanding, was as tall as a fir tree, with leaves resembling those of a carob tree, and its fruit like clusters of grapes. The tree's fragrance spread far and wide." Enoch noted that the fruit of this tree resembled grape clusters, invoking the image of grapes growing in bunches. Clusters typically consist of multiple fruits attached to a single long stem, each with its own smaller stem. According to Enoch's description, the forbidden fruit might have resembled grapes, sharing the characteristics of a cluster. How can we be sure that Enoch's account is accurate? Truthfully, we cannot be certain unless we witness it ourselves. However, Enoch shared what he saw and described, and it is possible that he was correct about many aspects. In fact, Genesis 2 also mentions the fruits in the Garden of Eden, stating that every tree that grows from the ground was pleasing to the eye and good for food. The tree of life was also in the garden, as well as the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Even Eve found the forbidden fruit appealing. The Bible recounts, "The woman saw that the tree was good for food and pleasing to the eye, and desirable for gaining wisdom, so she took some of its fruit and ate it." Enoch's description aligns with these accounts, as he wrote about a tree in the Garden of Righteousness, whose fruit resembled grape clusters, beautiful and fragrant, spreading its scent far. These details suggest that whether viewed through the Bible, Eve's perspective, or Enoch's visions, the tree was depicted as beautiful and alluring, symbolizing wisdom and knowledge. Why then do many people associate the forbidden fruit with an apple? This misconception largely arises from linguistic confusion. In Latin, the word malum can mean both apple and evil. This similarity likely contributed to the apple becoming a symbol of sin in the story of Adam and Eve, even though the Bible never specifies the type of fruit. As Christianity spread across Europe, the apple gradually became a popular representation of the forbidden fruit, particularly through art and culture. During the Renaissance, artists began portraying humanity's fall, and the apple, a familiar fruit, was often chosen to symbolize the forbidden fruit. One prominent example is Michelangelo's famous painting in the Sistine Chapel, where the apple is clearly depicted in the scene of the fall. Such artistic choices cemented the apple's image as the forbidden fruit in popular culture. In Europe, the apple frequently appeared as a symbol of temptation and sin in literature and art, further solidifying its association with the forbidden fruit. As Christianity gradually became a cornerstone of cultural life, this symbol became even more ingrained. The influence of the King James Bible played a crucial role, even though this version never specified a particular fruit. However, its widespread impact, combined with the depiction of apples in art and literature, led to the forbidden fruit being closely associated with the image of an apple in many people's minds. It's important to understand that this belief primarily stems from historical and cultural development rather than biblical evidence. There is no specific evidence in the Bible or extra-biblical texts that identifies the forbidden fruit as an apple. While Enoch mentioned a fruit resembling a cluster of grapes, the Bible does not provide any specific description of the forbidden fruit. Nevertheless, the misconception of the forbidden fruit as an apple persists in popular understanding. Apples are often depicted as the symbol of the forbidden fruit in many Western artworks and cultural representations. However, upon closer examination, grapes play a much more significant role in biblical symbolism. Not only do grapes carry rich spiritual significance, but they are also frequently mentioned as symbols of fertility, blessings, and prosperity. Grapes appear in various contexts throughout the Bible, reflecting the deep connection between nature's abundance and God's grace. A clear example of this is the story in Numbers 13:23, where Moses' spies return from the land of Canaan with a cluster of grapes so large that it had to be carried on a pole between two men. This image demonstrates the fertility of the promised land and symbolizes the blessings God had prepared for the Israelites. In the New Testament, Jesus also used the image of the vine to teach profound spiritual lessons. In John 15:1-8, he said, "I am the true vine, and my Father is the vine dresser. Every branch in me that does not bear fruit, he takes away, and every branch that bears fruit, he prunes, that it may bear more fruit. You are already clean because of the word which I have spoken to you. Abide in me, and I in you. As the branch cannot bear fruit of itself unless it abides in the vine, neither can you unless you abide in me. I am the vine, you are the branches. He who abides in me and I in him bears much fruit, for without me you can do nothing. If anyone does not abide in me, he is cast out as a branch and is withered, and they gather them and throw them into the fire, and they are burned. If you abide in me, and my words abide in you, you will ask what you desire, and it shall be done for you. By this my Father is glorified, that you bear much fruit, so you will be my disciples." Here, the vine and its fruit symbolize the deep spiritual connection between Jesus Christ and his disciples, emphasizing the importance of maintaining a relationship with him to bear good fruit. Yet grapes are not only a symbol of blessing, but are also used in the context of judgment. In Revelation 14:18-20, grapes are trampled in the winepress of God's wrath, symbolizing the final judgment and the consequences of sin. While apples are often associated with the forbidden fruit in many cultures, grapes carry a deeper significance in illustrating profound concepts of blessing, fruitfulness, and judgment in the Bible. Ultimately, this is just one of the biblical ideas about what the forbidden fruit could be. Grapes, with their rich symbolism, are an intriguing and thoughtful choice to consider. But if you have other ideas, feel free to leave a comment below. Some scholars suggest the forbidden fruit might symbolize something else, such as temptation linked to sexuality or even false speech. The Wisdom of Solomon. This book in the Catholic Bible suggests that temptation is the primary cause of death and suffering for humanity. The forbidden fruit here symbolizes the desire for knowledge beyond the limits set by God. Jewish and Christian theological writings. Many Bible commentators view the forbidden fruit as a symbol of self-reliance and the desire for control, when humans wish to decide for themselves what is good and evil rather than following God's will. Jewish mysticism literature. In Kabbalah, a branch of Jewish mysticism, the forbidden fruit is sometimes seen as forbidden knowledge or wisdom that humans are not yet ready to receive, and the attempt to attain it causes imbalance. If you have any theories about this, feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for watching until the end of the video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel to ensure you don't miss any exciting future content. See you in the next video.